Hey guys, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. Today what we're doing is we're installing a plug. What we've got here is we have a grounded type Decora plug, okay? And all that really means is that it's a different shape. If you notice, it's got the rectangular face on it instead of the two kind of almost oval type that you would normally see on an older style outlet. Also, something that's kind of important that we go over real quick is that if you can notice this here in the face, this says TR, it's just stamped right into the face of the plug. What that stands for is tamper resistant. I don't know if you can see this very well or not, but also in these vertical blades here, it has like an opaque plastic in there. What that is a built-in equivalent to a child safety lock. You need two tabs to push in at the same time for this to be able to kind of open up and receive the cord that you're plugging into it. So it's a child safety, tamper safety feature to this plug. These guys are required by code all throughout your house now. So unless it's for dedicated use, like a sump pump, you have to use this style. Okay, you have to use that tamper resistant to be able to meet code. So make sure that when you are replacing these plugs that you're using the tamper resistant. Plus they're handy to have. They're a good thing to have, especially if you get kids running around the house. Okay, so next, an important piece of an equipment. This is what's called a non-contact voltage tester. Okay, what this does is after we turn it on here, this will tell us if our wires are live, okay? We'll make sure that we shut off power. So you're gonna go to your panel, you're gonna find where you're working and shut off the circuit breaker that describes the area that you're working in. After you shut that circuit breaker off, you wanna come back, turn on your voltage tester here, and make sure that it doesn't beep. Now, if these wires were live at all, you'd hear something more like this. Okay, and what that's doing is that's picking up the static on my shirt, okay? And it will also pick up the voltage that is through these wires if they're live, okay? So make sure you pick one of these up. They're about $10, $15. They're readily available at Lowe's and Home Depot. Actually, literally a lifesaver. So make sure you pick this up. Make sure your power is off before you work on any electrical, okay? Number one rule, always assume that it's live, okay? So next thing, you're going to notice that you got a couple sets of screws here, okay? Now, in this, you have a gold screw, you have two gold screws here, and you have two silver screws, and you have a green screw, okay? So now, what we've got here is we've got two white wires, we've got two black wires, and then we have our bare copper ground, okay? So always, your black wires, which are going to be your live wires, are going to attach to the gold screws, okay? And make sure that you remember that. It's very important. And it can't be a black here and a white here. It has to be if you have two wires, these both have to go, the black wires have to go to the gold screws. Same with the silver screws. The white wire, or what's referred to as your neutral, is going to go to these silver screws. It can't be black and white. Only two white wires here, okay? And then lastly, you're going to want to make sure, we've already done this, but we have two ground wires that are twisted together and connected with a wire connector or a wire nut. So that's one of these. I'm sure you recognize that. And then pigtailed with a single wire coming out so that we can put it to the ground screw, okay? So let's get started with this. Again, one more time, make sure nobody turned on the power on us, which they didn't. Get out our strippers here. These have predetermined wire sizes in them. They have like little grooves that are cut out for different size of wire. What we're using here is 12 gauge wire. This is what's most commonly found in kitchens and in bathrooms. So go ahead and strip those off. You can see it's kind of got the holes right there that are for each wire size. Now, because this is 12 wire, we can't just stab them into the back. You can see these tiny little holes here. If this was a 14 gauge wire, which is the next size smaller from this, you'd just be able to strip those off and plug them right into the back, just like that. Can't do it here because it's 12 gauge, and I don't know why, but they just won't fit in here. So what we have to do is we have to bend a little hook. Okay? So we bend a little hook in each of the wires. Okay. Inverted that one just a little bit. This is a little bit long. We'll trim this down a little. Okay. Alright. So, you can see now we've got the hooks, and those will go right around our screws. It'll be pretty easy now. Okay. Now, we'll just hook those right around our screw. Grab our drill here. I used to use a little 12-volt DeWalt. Perfect for doing work like this. These little kind of 12-volt drills. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Okay. Flip this over. And I'm kind of bending my hooks to make sure that they follow the rotation of the screw. So that when I tighten the screw down, it's not going to want to back that wire off. It'll kind of suck it down instead. Okay. Tighten that. Just kind of give those a little bit of push and pull. Make sure they're on there tightly. Next thing I like to do is I like to take and wrap these plugs with a little bit of tape. And this will just make sure that as you put the wires back into the box, that bare copper ground wire doesn't touch any of the other wires or touch those screws as you're putting it in there. Okay. If that does happen, you'll wind up with the breaker kicking out on you because it'll cause a short. Okay, I'll just push that back in there. I've got some box screws right into the screw hole here. It's covered up with a little bit of drywall mud. And that's that. Make sure that that's straight so that when your cover plate goes on, it's nice and square. It's sturdy. And that's it, guys. Now you're ready to turn the breaker back on. You're ready to use that. Okay? So I hope that you found that informative. If you did, please give it a like. Let us know if there's anything else that you'd like to know about too. We can probably explain a lot of things for you. If you're in the Metro Detroit area and you're in need of an electrician, please look us up. We're at www.clearelectric.net. Be happy to answer any questions for you, give you a free estimate for your job. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy your day.